Let them fix fuel and loin. That's the reason why I'm brother. What happened? We are hungry.
Very proud to be one of the privileged persons who is advocating for good governance in Nigeria.
Donandap did not mention any names on the watch list. However, The Sun reports that a senior Nigerian immigration officer disclosed to his reporters that former presidential candidate of African Action Congress, AAC, and convener of Revolution Now movement, Omoyele Sowore, is on the government's watch list. Security agencies have identified and blocked bank accounts linked to the sponsors. Joining us this morning is the convener of Revolution Now movement, Omoyele Sowore. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for bringing me. Thank you. Good morning.
In response to this, do you consider yourself at risk? Do you consider yourself one of the sponsors of the protest based on the allegations that have been touted here and there?
Well, I have been on the watch list of Nigerian government since I was in the University of Lagos in I think I've been there since 1992. I found out when I was leaving Nigeria in 1999 that I've been on their watch list. So I don't know how many times they're going to put me on the watch list. But having said that, I'm very proud to be one of the privileged persons who is advocating for good governance in Nigeria. I did it against the military. I've done it against successive civilian regimes in Nigeria who have engaged in wanton corruption and destruction of Nigerian society. So I am glad that I got a honorable mention this time around again.
Okay, just to confirm, they say that accounts have been blocked. Have any of your accounts been blocked?
Well, they blocked the account of Take It Back movement, and we made it clear to as far as last week, the UBA accounts of Take It Back were blocked by the government through the UBA. So, and they have not reopened it. So I would imagine that that's what they're referring to, but that's a waste of time.
Okay. Are you also familiar with anyone else who may have had their accounts blocked, and maybe seen as a sponsor of the protest?
I'm not aware. I mean, if there's anybody in diaspora at this time that's funding or supporting this, I would imagine that they won't be worried about that. The nature of money has completely changed over the years. The banking system as we have it now is a central system of money transactions. But there's a lot of other ways, digital currencies that are in existence. So I keep saying that these guys live in the past. That's why they still do things the old way. So I don't know anybody else, but I want to say that the diaspora don't need anybody putting them on a watch list. They need to be given the right to vote, considering that they send over $50 billion to Nigeria every year. And we have no any other option than to let them vote and let them be part of the conversation that goes on in their home country. But I guess these guys don't know any better.
Now, if you say that, you've said that you feel privileged that you've been given an honorable mention. For the longest time, what we've heard is that a number of people have said that the government has said that they do not know the face of the protesters and that the protest has been nameless and faceless. And now that they've asked for dialogue, is this something that you're open to? So walk us through the initial request when the government asked for people to send in their details, for the leaders of this protest to identify themselves and send in details. Did you at any point, oblige the government to this request? And going forward, how do you perceive the negotiation will look like as one of the sponsors?
I'm not part of those who are negotiating with the government. I want Nigerian people to know that I do not intend to be involved in any negotiations with the Nigerian government. We are still
all right. We seem to have a slight issue with the connection with Omoyele Sowore.
All right.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Sowore. I think we have you now. Go ahead.
Yes. So we don't have any intention to get involved in any phony negotiation. so that tomorrow nobody comes around and said, "Oh, I was part of the people who is negotiating at the back end with the government." No, I'm not involved. I did not intend to be involved. End governance action is still going on as we speak, and the grand finale of the first 10 days will be on the 10th of August. So that's what we're working on right now.
All right. Before we come to what the protest will look like from the 10th of August or what the effect might be, in an interview on Arise TV, Comrade Adams Oshiomhole was asked if he knew the protesters. He, of course, said the protest was faceless. He didn't know who the leaders and the sponsors of the protest were. And your name came up. And he referred to you as an absentee desktop leader, a failed presidential candidate, and a politician, in some measure, a politician who is mourning his loss because you're in the political space right now, so you probably do not have the right to be calling names or calling out all the politicians. What response would you have to him?
I don't pay attention to Adams Oshiomhole. I knew Adams Oshiomhole as far back as 1992, 1993, 94. They were the ones who sold out Nigerian people with late Pascal Bafia of the NLC at that time. So there's a wheeler dealer. What am I mourning? In an election that did not take place, I think they are the ones who are mourning. They are the ones who have to be on TV every morning, just crying and sobbing and trying to defend the indefensible. I don't think it's important to waste my time. And let me just brag a little bit here. I'm a presidential candidate, so I cannot be responding to a senator.
Okay, all right, interesting. And you just spoke about the 10 days of the protest. So just share with us, what happens from day 10 if the response, I'm sure that you definitely saw the speech by Mr. President and the second one that was eventually then put down by Bayo Onanuga. But what happens from day 10 if the president's response, the Nigerian government's response, is still not satisfactory according to your standards and your demands? What happens from day 10?
We are going to make that decision when we reach that point. So it's we have an internal democratic system and consultation that happens on a regular basis. And we will let Nigerian people know what happens next after day 10. But it's important to let you know now that they have not addressed any of the demands. And so after day 10, of course, this will be escalated further and bigger to get to the root of our problems. So consultations have been made with regards to what will happen after day 10, definitely.
Okay. And looking at the protest so far and how it's, taking shape, would you say that the protest has achieved its goal? Would you say it has been a successful protest for the past 8 days?
It has been. I think I had this conversation with you guys on this show and several of your shows that when it was building up, nobody thought the protest would last for one day. It has lasted for 8 solid days. It has happened all over Nigeria and beyond. And I did not imagine that it would be this successful in terms of participation and level of awareness. I think we must thank the Nigerian people who participated and those who will still participate in further protests, that they have allowed the lion in them to be woken up, and there is no going back. And the fact that nothing else has been done in Nigeria except attending to this protest in the last 10 days. The fact that regardless of provocation, torture, killings, extrajudicial killings, harassments that have been going on, that people have remained steadfast, I can't imagine anything more successful than this in a long time. So we will continue and we will resolutely and resiliently continue to resist this government. The resistance will grow, I can tell you that. And this is what I said last time I came to Nigeria in May of 2024, just barely 2 months ago, that the revolution that I've been talking about will happen in Nigeria, with or without me. And here we are.
All right. And, there's also, certain views that, we've noticed in the last couple of days, which is that those who sponsored, those who supported, those who pushed for the protest should be held responsible for the loss of lives that have occurred across the country. Different news reports, have 14, 17 different numbers, and of course, even in northern Nigeria. And so, what would your response be to those who say that you, as one of the supporters or sponsors of the protest, should be held responsible for the loss of lives and the destruction of property in different parts of the country as a result of the End Bad Governance protest?
I think the people who are perpetrating violence already knew that what they did is wrong, and they're already taking responsibility. The army yesterday killed a 16-year-old boy in Zaria, and they had to go on their knees begging the parents, even offering some paltry sum of money of 300,000 naira a head to the parents. So they already knew what they did was wrong, and they are taking responsibility. That's at the level of Nigerian army. But the police has not taken responsibility. But everybody who engaged in killing peaceful protesters will be made to account for their actions. And that is where we stand on this issue. You have answered this last week here that these are some of the senseless positions taken by pro-government mercenaries who are appearing as public opinion leaders, that peaceful protesters should be held responsible for violence that they did not perpetrate. So, but this is not something that will go away anytime soon. If you have killed somebody, or you've engaged in killing somebody, or you've tried to cover up the killing of Nigerians who are peacefully protesting, you are responsible for their death, and you'll be held accountable and responsible for it.
All right. And some of the criticism that we've heard leveled against this End Bad Governance protest is that it's a disguise to topple the current administration. What would your response to that be? Every
administration that is faced with this level of resistance by the citizenry for bad governance always claim that they want to topple the government. Well, it is the government that's toppling itself with bad policies. So there is no reason responding to something as irresponsible and illogical as this. If people want to topple the government of Nigeria, I don't think they will hide it. They won't hide it. And the people who get into government illegitimately through the back door understand how governments are toppled. However, it's important to note that it rests with Nigerian people to decide which government they want to continue with or not. So I am not going to sit down here and say that if the government keeps killing people, keep killing them with bad policies or using force to annihilate the Nigerian people, that Nigerian people will keep watching them forever. No, that will not happen. So government exists at the behest of the people, not the other way around.
What does this mean for you in the coming weeks, months? What does this mean for you and your future here in Nigeria? Now that if it's confirmed officially that you're on that watch list, and of course they had said that anyone who's on the watch list, as soon as they come into Nigeria, they'll be picked up. Do you fear for yourself? Would you be coming back to Nigeria anytime soon?
Yes, I'll be back very soon. I promise. And they're at liberty to pick me up, to detain me as they did in 2019. But the focus should be the struggle. It shouldn't be about me. And I have dedicated my life to making Nigeria a better place, a better country, a better society. And I knew from day one that this could cost me a lot, and it has cost me a lot. And there's no going back now. It's too late.
All right. Omoyele Sowore, thank you very much for joining us this morning and for sharing updates with us. We would, of course, wish you a great day ahead and look forward to speaking with you again.
Thank you so much, and have a great day too. Thanks for bringing me.
You as well.
You as well.
Nigeria, they use computer. The leaders of Nigeria, they use radio where they turn the knob.